Hi, this is Jim, and this is Second Chance, a moped podcast. And welcome everybody to another week of Second Chance Moped Podcast. Yes, we're here. We're back. We're in the basement, and two things going on with me. One, I am putting a ceiling in my garage, so I have had to freaking do poly, and I'm doing a kind of a horse shit job on that. But you know what? We're doing that, and I have like a step up and down deal because of I have kind of a lower garage, and I have a with my garage door and the way everything is, I had to kind of box around shit. So like I did all that, and then I did like the first run by myself tonight because my chase driver, first neighbor Pat was going to help me, but neighbor Pat was at the bar for too long, and neighbor Pat didn't make it over. Right. So Colby is going to come and help me out because I have the greatest. I have a hetero. No, I'm not going to say like the Jay and Silent Bob shit.
Yeah, hetero life mate.
I got a hetero life partner. I don't know if his wife knows about this yet, but no, dude, I love Colby because like I bust that kid's balls all the time, and he is just such a good sport about it, and like he busts my chops. And we're doing a little something different. We're live a little bit during on Instagram during this podcast, and I'm excited, dude. I'm getting amped up for next year already, and we're not even in December yet, and I'm getting really excited for Bakers. I got some of my parts in for Bakers already, but I got my guest this week because I will not troll, I will lurk MA and just like pop on people's profiles and like see, wow, they got like 5,000-6,000 posts. Awesome, dude. Like this guy either doesn't know what he's talking about or he knows what he's talking about. He's asking a lot of fucking questions. So I just want to, and we'll get into the whole deal, but like, I just want to have my guest introduce himself right now.
Yeah, my name is Jay Rivet. I've been playing mopeds for a long time, and long time listener, first time guest.
Awesome. Yeah, and we were joking earlier about like firsts. That's the first time that somebody's. I don't think I've had anybody refer to themselves like that. And I'm trying to end that. We were Instagram live for a little bit there. I'm trying to end that. So, there we go. So Jay, here on Second Chance Moped Podcast, we go through people's moped journey, i.e. the very first time they ever saw a moped to like the smile ride and what part of the journey was like today. So Jay, let me ask you this. What is your very first memory of a moped? Not necessarily getting on or riding, but like the first time you can conceptually remember that is a moped.
That's a really good question because I've thought of that before. And when I bought my first moped, I did a search, Googling mopeds, and not knowing necessarily even the difference between a moped and a scooter. But for some reason in my brain, I was like, I don't want a scooter, a new Vespa, but like, I can't say that I've had ever really seen and registered that there was a moped that's a moped in my brain. I don't know what it was, but so I was Googling it and I found some and I was like, oh, these are cool. And led me down rabbit holes. And then I found one that was near me. And so the first moped I ever saw in real life, I feel like, was the moped that I ended up buying, was my 81 Pinto.
Nice, dude. I'm just looking at a few things. So, okay, tell us where you're from, because that's one thing we didn't get out so far. I know you're a West Coast guy.
Yep. Yeah, I currently live in Sacramento, home of the land squids. I am not a squid. I don't actually belong to any club at the moment, other than like some club that me and my friends and my wife and I started, kind of a thing in Indiana, where I've lived before, Indianapolis. I was going under the Chiefs. There was a few of us, and so I have a couple of those stickers on our headlights still. And then when we were in Arizona, in Tucson, which is where we moved here from, we were playing with the name Just Barely's, just barely running, just barely seized, just barely's.
Just barely, dude. I like it.
Yeah.
So you got a heck of a story. So you kind of been playing mopeds all over the country. So what city did you first get a moped at?
Indianapolis was where I first got my moped. One happenstance or another, I didn't have a car. I didn't necessarily have a great license at the time, and
Good choice.
Indiana was one of those states that doesn't require any registration for mopeds.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, sweet, anything 50 cc and under, nothing under over 35, and I can get away legally, So
Yep.
that's what led me down that rabbit hole to find the mopeds, and luckily I found that Pinto. Was dude owned it he bought it brand new at JCPenney. So he bought
Nice.
the saddlebags, he bought the windscreen,
Fuck
uh,
yes.
and I had the receipt for it. I mean, it was like, and the original owner's manual, all
What
that stuff.
color
It was
was it
great.
now? Let me ask you
It
that.
was yellow.
Nice, dude.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I love I have a hard time accepting the black ones for some reason. I know they're out
right.
there, but
Yep.
like because I'm gonna let something out. Nobody's ever fucking asked me this, so
Aren't the black ones usually the Pinto twos, anyways?
maybe. I
Yeah.
don't.
Okay.
Like I'm not
Okay.
a Pinto guy, but like
Yeah.
that's the first moped I think I ever saw when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
Was a yellow Pinto. So
Nice.
there's the secret out because nobody's asked me the first fucking moped I've ever seen. Love you guys.
First time,
Whatever.
another time.
Hey,
All
first
right.
dude, Jay, you got it all. You're getting all my first here this week.
It's good times.
So what year was that then? Because you know me and my
Oh,
timelines.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. I moved there. I would say it was '07.
Okay.
Was when I moved there, and maybe it wasn't '07. It would have been '08 then that I got it. I
Okay.
think it was
You know
'08.
it does. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
roughly
yeah.
that
I know. Yeah,
time
yeah,
frame.
yeah. So around '08 that I got it. And then as soon as I got it, I wanted to know more about it. I'd even flirted with buying a broken one that it would force me to fix, so then I would
Yeah.
know how to fix them and stuff. And then I almost immediately decided against that. Let's get it running first, and then if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
And of course, we found out mopeds are mopeds and they don't work ever. So I quickly needed some help with it and found some local dudes that were riding, and had not even a crew necessarily, but there was just a few friends that had mopeds and rode around the city all the time. So I started hanging out with them, and they were awesome. Lance and Candy, and um, they still live in Indianapolis. They play with mopeds a little bit still,
Hmm.
but
But they
um,
probably got kids and
yeah, they
whatnot.
have kids. I mean, well, shit, I got 3 kids too.
Dude, good
That's
for you. Like I don't have time. Like that's my big deal. Like it's like I would have to like give something up and I'm way too self-centered for that shit.
well,
Um
not to get too far ahead of things. I met my wife through mopeds,
right on.
so and she already had some children, so that they're my stepchildren. But
Right on.
they're my kids, even still.
Yeah,
But
hell
they're,
yeah, dude.
it's nice. We had I took a few years off for a while, and focused on them for a little bit. But
Well, because you're
now I'm back into it.
responsible somewhat. So yeah, dude, that's like
Yeah,
yeah, you got these little creatures around. You got to feed them. You got to pay some
right.
attention to them. I'm just fucking with
I
you, dude.
know
That's
it's
rad.
tough.
No, yeah, yeah. So we'll jump back to Indianapolis.
Yeah,
It's the town I always see the exits to on the way to the zeros. I always
no,
think like,
nice.
yeah, I was like, oh, I should go there someday, but like,
Eh,
I don't want to fucking go through Indiana any more than I have to. Um,
true.
when you were in Indiana, did you find the outer because MA is around at this point, barbecues are happening, rallies are
Hmm.
happening. Are you
Hmm.
finding the outside moped called community at all at this point, or like how did you kind of
Well,
bump into that first? Because I'm guessing you at least stumbled upon MA at some point during these early days.
I don't even remember Moped Army much. I think I found my friends through book, or even might have even been Craigslist of all things.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I put up a little ad about having a moped on Craigslist, and was like, you have a moped, want to ride? Let's do this. So like I really honestly think it was Craigslist that I found them on. But they were into Moped Army and knew they were in the moped scene for a while. So they had been to a rally or two or something like that. Bloomington was my first rally.
Okay.
Bloomington, Indiana had a rally in oh man, what was it?
Wasn't that the Yetis?
It was the Nope, they were the Bropeds
Okay.
in Bloomington back then. Now there's another group there, the Narps, I want to
Yeah,
say.
I think Alex or something like that.
Eobon.
Yeah, really rad artist. I love him and his girlfriend, partner. I don't know what to call people because I'm trying to be correct for everything. They're
Yeah,
both couple sweethearts. Love them both.
yeah, yeah. I love Eobon. I bought a moped from him. Or no, I sold a moped to him, and I think I bought parts from him later on. It was good times. But yeah, went to my first moped rally in Bloomington. It was a blast. I had the slowest moped there. I was the back of the pack on my
Good for
Pinto. It at the time did 27 miles an hour hard stop, and nothing anyone could figure out or do to it would make it go any faster than that. So good times.
Yeah,
But then that drove me to have to kit it, and then got a bike going faster. I think I broke over 50 on that bike eventually, but
nice, dude.
went to a few
Now,
other
where were you getting
rallies.
parts for the bike at this?
Which
Where were you getting bike parts at this time? Were you going through
treat land.
eBay? Treat? Okay, you weren't even messing with 77.
77. I tried to get a few things from, and I'm sure you've heard all the 77
Yeah,
stories. I mean,
and like I'm not here to
Dan,
bash them
great
by any
dude.
means, but like I want
Really,
to find this
no,
eight
no, no,
month window
really
they were good.
awesome guy. I love Dan. I'm sorry that just there was a problem somewhere in the whole like acquiring parts and shipping them out in a timely manner.
Yeah,
It was what it was. So I didn't use 77 that often, but I ended up going. We went down to the Inverness Rally one year, and
awesome.
to go there from Indiana, we had to go through Atlanta. So we stopped at Dose
Yeah.
in some of its early days. I don't know what Dose is looking like now, but when I went, it was the dude that owns Dose also owns a lighting fixture
Yep.
company.
World
And so it
World
was just,
Specialty Lamps or something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so everything was just like tucked in with all these like lamps and light bulbs and different things throughout his warehouse. So he's like, I think down this aisle had these jets. So we like had to like go across. I don't know, it was crazy, but it was a lot of fun. So,
It's such a rad service that Doze provides for everybody. Because like
oh yeah,
you want wheels, new old stock, they got them. Like
yeah.
you want just rad stuff. Like hit. I can't stress that enough. Like I've been dealing with Dose a little bit more this past year. Like
Hmm.
good guys, awesome people to see at rallies.
Yep.
I won't lie, I was a little intimidated by like Blake and some of those guys at first because like, ooh, those people. But like, guess what? They're fucking moped dorks, just like the rest of us. So like,
Right. Yeah. And the nice thing about Dose is, or what the one thing you have to remember about Dose is like nothing's on their website, like
yeah,
pretty much nothing.
yeah,
So you have to call them or email them and
yep,
tell them what you need, and they have it. They will
yep.
100% have it if you need it. So
That's my hiccup about them. I'm like, it's hard to impulse buy at Dose. Like treat
yeah, yeah,
land's real easy. Just fill up that basket.
so easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, and but treats, they're just too consistent to
yeah,
not go with, and especially now that I live in Sacramento.
dude, it's
um
next day for you, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
Yeah.
all so quick. And then honestly, Dana lives in town, so if I needed to get something back to them or needed something in some way, he could possibly even get it and bring it into town. So
Here's
it's no
like
big
my
deal.
2 second cool kid moment at Blood Drive. We'll jump way ahead quick.
Yeah.
During the little incident that happened off on Nassau Island, I was at the bottom of the hill,
Okay.
and I was just talking. Like somebody said, "Hey Jim, come here," and I didn't know who the fuck this person was. I guess it was Dana. Like he knew
Oh,
who.
nice.
Like that's the thing that's still like I am a nobody. I'm a dork in a basement on the right side of the river of Minnesota. Like I I still think nobody knows me, and yeah, dude, I feel like the biggest dork in the world. But like
Hey.
again, treats and all those guys are fucking super nice and super
Yep.
consistent people, like I said. So you went to that first rally, like, and you're back of the pack. This is my goal for next year. Not a Minnesota rally. I won't do this there. I want to have the balls to bring a stock bike to a moped rally. Just fucking own it
Yeah.
and just like run
Yeah.
it and not give a fuck.
Whatever. You're
Yeah,
gonna
dude.
make the
Like,
whole thing.
yeah. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna bring a fucking stock bike and like give me the route, guys. I'll figure
Yeah.
it out. Don't worry about it. Like, yeah. I another first Jay that I just got that kind of popped in my head right now, dude. Like Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm bringing a stock. Listen up, everybody. 2023. Jim Henry's coming with
Stock.
a fucking stock bike, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of has that arcing, like, or I don't know, cyclical, like event of mopeds. It's like you start out on that stock bike, and then you're like, "Fuck, this sucks. Let me go faster." And then you go faster, and you go faster, and you go faster, and you're like, "I'm tired of everything breaking all the time. Let's go slower again." And then you just get that stock bike, and you just cruise, and you're like, "Oh, this is awesome. What am I missing?" Um, that's I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. It was one of the best moped rallies I ever had. I mean, yeah, it's the first one,
Yeah.
but just I was in the very back and I was like, oh my God, they're so far ahead of me. I'm just gonna like chill and enjoy this. I'm just like sitting back. We're in the middle of like the cornfield country in
Hmm.
Indiana, so it's just like cornfields as tall as me on the bike. So I'm just like cruising down this super straight road that I can see down forever. And just so I know where they're turning because I can
Hmm.
see them, so I'm not like losing anybody. Chase is on my ass, so it's no big deal. But
Yeah.
it was just one of the best times I ever had. So I loved it.
Dude, that's was that your first big group ride then for you, Jay?
Yes. Before that, there'd been maybe like five
Okay.
total. So,
Like
yeah.
for me, and if you look on the Casserolers Instagram page, I'll give those kids a shout out. If you scroll back to like 2018, there's a ride video of it taken off from the bar they always meet up at, the yacht
Hmm.
club.
Hmm.
That's my first group ride. It's like in August. I still had an open faced helmet. Like that night changed me. And like I always like tell people there's a few things that like in mopeds it's all their fault. One, that night was all the Kevin Knutson, who helped me get my bikes running, all his fault.
Hmm.
Casserolers that ride, all his fault. Jason for Moped Monday, all his fault. But so you have that ride, you go down there. Did you win anything in the raffle? Or didn't they have raffles back then?
I don't remember there being much of a raffle at that rally. It was really small. Like there might have been 27 people or something like that, 30
Yeah.
people. I mean, it was really small for most rally sake. With the exception, I think, of the one rally that we tried to put on as Chiefs, where there was like 12 people. I don't know.
But you guys were in Arizona. No, that was
That
in
was in
Indiana. Yeah.
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was it helped us because there was the Lafayette's in Lafayette,
Yep.
and Responsible John, or Philip,
Yeah.
he's part of them, and he came to the rally, and another guy. Uh, oh man, brain farting on people's names now.
Dude, don't worry about it.
But yeah, handful of folks. Jeremy Shea from the Bandits came down, and a few other folks. So we had like a good grouping of a handful of moped clubs around, which was
Hmm.
nice, but it
Yeah.
was small.
Dude, that's all. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'll try to throw rides out, in the fall, and like, I'll usually get like I'll get one or two people, and that's like
Yeah,
just the
yeah.
local scene. Like,
Why
it's
not?
usually know what it honestly is. It's usually
Mm.
Jake Kane and I just blasting like 60, 70 miles in the fall. Like we did his East Coast run, we are his West Coast swing of the Metro one weekend. It just happened to be the next weekend we did my East Coast swing, and it was like over
Nice.
like 2 weekends. I think me and him did like 160 miles, 170
That's
miles,
nice.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. And like, and I repeat this every week. Like Baker's wrecked me, dude. I don't get comfortable on a bike until like 50 miles into the run now.
Right.
Like it's fuck, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But you kind of had that going. What was it? Just a life change, or like what made you? Why'd you move areas? And like you said, you went from Indianapolis to Arizona.
Well, okay. Before I moved to Indianapolis, I lived in California. I lived in
Okay.
like San Diego area, and then just I'm a big people, places, things. So
Hmm.
like things change all the time, and new people, new places, new things. So
Yeah.
just get
Except
up
for old
and go.
mopeds.
Yeah, get up and go. Why not?
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got married that I kind of settled down in that way. But we still move around quite a bit. I mean, when I first met my wife, she lived in Tucson and I lived in Indianapolis, and I moved out there for her, and then we moved a few places in the city, and then now we moved out here. We're not stopping, so we're going to keep moving around. But I will say that we moved here specifically because of the moped scene.
Okay.
I
No,
mean, we
dude,
were
there's
like,
nothing wrong. That has been a contemplation in my mind for a few years now. Not that there's anything wrong with the scene that's in Minneapolis, but like there's a few scenes that like I really feel I gelled with, and they
mhm,
know who they are.
yeah,
I don't need to start dropping names, but like it's I'm so rooted in my job at work,
mhm.
and like I kind of like my setup with my house. So like that's I jokingly tell people at work all the time, especially my bosses, this is the last job I'll have in Minnesota. So like it can be next week or 20 years from now, but this is the
Right.
last.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun moving around. We had some criteria when we were in Tucson because it was like it was COVID and it was like
yeah.
face melting hot. And
So
so
okay, let's rewind that for a second. You were a Midwest guy.
yeah.
How is the heat comparison in Arizona heat versus a Midwest heat?
Well, so I've lived everywhere
Okay.
my whole life. So I grew up in the Midwest. I've lived in Tucson before this time. I lived in Tucson. I
Okay.
went to high school. That's where I went to school. I graduated high school and stuff. Um, so I'm familiar with Tucson heat, and it's dry heat, like everybody
Yeah.
says, but it's true. Like it's a huge difference when it's like the difference between a sauna or a
hmm
steam room and a like a oven. Like an
Yeah.
oven's dry. It's hot, but it's dry. Uh, but a sauna, it's hot, but it's wet. Like,
Yep.
and no matter how much you dry yourself off, you're still wet.
Yeah.
So and then hot on top of it. So it's like
yeah.
annoying because you just like keep sweating through your clothes in like the higher humidity kind of places. So you take what you like, you do what you like. You know what I mean? We here in Sacramento, it's still dry, but it's a
hmm
lot more tolerable.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit cooler. There's trees, these things with like leaves on them and canopies of shade, which is great. And then now you're cooler all of a sudden. Tucson doesn't have that. They have cactus. And then
Yeah.
like you like try to skinny yourself up along the cacti and it's just not the same.
It's nuts though, because like I have never been to Arizona, but I've been to New Mexico. I went out to the Goat Heads thing a couple years ago, and like there's a huge difference. Like Minnesota shade, you don't feel it's just hot. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But
the
like
sun or shade, whatever.
yeah, it's just hot.
Yeah.
Like you get in the shade
That's
out
the
in the desert.
humidity.
Yeah, yeah. You get out in you get the shade of the desert. There's like a 20-degree swing almost. It feels like it's like,
Oh
oh my
yeah.
god, like
Yeah. Makes it bearable all of a sudden.
yeah, like
Spritz a little water, a mist of water in the air, and all of a sudden you're like 20 degrees cooler than that too.
yeah, like I remember that's where I met Randy from God, what the hell's his moped click? Anyways, like I met Randy from out in the California area.
Mhm.
Randy from school on Instagram, if anybody wants to follow him. Awesome guy, super, super, super nice guy. Um I feel bad I forgot his moped club's name. Anyways, like we kind of huddled behind a cactus like one morning because it was fucking hot. Um But like back to kind of the rally scene, you talked about
Yeah.
like trying to put one on yourself, having a little turnout. Like, when was the first time you went to like a massive rally, like like over
Well,
100 bike rally?
right before we tried to throw our own rally, we had just gone to WizBiz 3.
Okay,
And so WizBiz 3 was like 450 mopeds deep. And
Jesus.
it was a serious moped rally. So we had just done that. Um, and we were like, let's do a rally ourselves now.
Yeah,
And then we get like nobody showing up. So it was a huge contrast. So it felt like nobody came. But it's not like we promoted it at that rally to like, oh, come to ours next time,
yeah.
or anything like that. But we're pretty close to Kentucky and to Louisville. That like Indianapolis is just a little jaunt up the freeway, no big deal.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was a lot of fun. Before I'd been to two of the whiskey business rallies, and then we had gone to like I said, the Inverness rally, and we did a Dead Peds rally in like 2009 or something like that too.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting with the. I know there's that rally going down in Melbourne, Florida. Can't recommend enough people to try to hit that one, and that
Hmm.
rally going on in Texas in next week, 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Um, the Shanks like it. You never 2020 proved us. If you have a question, if you want to go to a rally, just go because you don't know if it's gonna be the last. Everybody got stuck with the Tampa rally there for a while, so I recommend going. I won't complain.
Right.
Um, but so you kind of had that, like you said you jump around a lot. Like, what was like? So you went to Phoenix, or was it Phoenix or
Tucson.
Tempe? Tucson. I knew it
Tucson.
was
Yep. It's all
me
good.
and directions and whatnot.
You know.
How was moped life there for you then? Was that kind of a break during that, or?
That is when I took my bit of a hiatus. When I first moved out there, the Tortugas were the moped group that was there.
Hmm.
A dude by the name of Kevin kind of ran it, and there was Ali and his sister Tara. They were kind of like the leaders ish of the group. You know, this dude. Gosh, I'm blanking on his name now. And his lady, God, I forget. Uh, yeah, but there was a bunch of those guys, and I was going out for my sister's wedding, and I hit him up on MA. I was like, "Hey, I'm coming out. You guys got a loaner? Let's do a ride, you know." And so they hit me up with the loaner, which was a sweet orange chow, pretty
Nice.
stock one. It was nice. My first time riding one of those, and I didn't hate it. You know,
Dude, chows are
I don't ever
way
want
under.
an Italian moped like that, but hey, whatever.
Dude, chows are way underrated because like
Totally.
I have one I took a motor off and I'm gonna rebuild it one year. I tell you, like
One
it
year.
was a fun like dude, I have no time. It's stupid.
They're just
Um,
small for me. I'm a big dude,
you are a
and
bigger guy. Yeah,
so the chow is a little smaller. Grande fits me better on their end of
yeah.
things. I just never found one that was worth a damn. But yeah, so they set me up, and I came out for this rally, and then my now wife was part of their group and came out for the ride, and
Mm-hmm.
she on her way out, her moped, her throttle cable came loose or was just not functioning right. So I helped her fix that, and she fell in love with me after that. So
Obviously, it was the throttle cable fixing that. Dude, I didn't
it's
have
the little
anybody
things.
around me whenever I fixed throttle cables. Damn it, that's my problem. Um,
Yep, yep. Just
so
be willing to help.
yeah, there you go. How's mopeds in Arizona? Because like I'm used to Midwest stuff like river cities, especially
Hmm.
up downs, twisties, like all that. Like I still like I really enjoyed riding out in Santa Fe, but like I know it's a different state away. What was it like riding out there?
Yeah, unfortunately, there wasn't great riding. There's a few places that you can, do a little bit of fun routes and stuff, but uh, it's a lot of like 45, 50 mile an hour roads around the outside that are just like 2 lane highways, so
Mm-hmm.
you can't really ride on it safely with cars doing 70 past you, it's like not fun.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
uh you have to have a bigger group if you're going to do those kind of roads. And then there just seemed to be, like, after I moved there, like more and more people just started kind of dropping off the scene for one reason or another, moving away, just tired of mopeds, pieces the crap person, whatever it might be. Um, and so it just ended up being like me and my wife, and then we were, before she was my wife, my girlfriend at the time, we were living a little ways away from the main city area.
Mm-hmm.
So to ride to the city, we had to get on to, like I said, some 45 plus mile an hour roads, and that's like just not safe for two of us to try to get on for 5 to 10 miles, to like get down into the city and stuff. So we'd have to like drive them, like load them up into a truck and drive them down some place. So it just got to be where there was no one else riding, and it was just me and my wife like buzzing our neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I had a series of just like moped fails. My Pinto, I had I don't even know what I did with the engine to it, but I took it off and I had another engine I was putting onto it and building that up. And it took forever for that engine to get built, and finally got built. And I had reused circlips on the piston. and the circlip like blew up like after during my first ride on it, and like roached the whole cylinder and piston and everything. So
I'll be the first one to admit I have done that more than once, and it
yeah,
has not bit me in the ass ever. Like I've gotten lucky. Like I
yeah,
know
yeah.
that.
You know, it was my fault because okay, so they weren't like just the regular little wire ones that they like spring in, you know.
Yep.
They were more like regular circlip ones with the little holes.
Oh
You got to
yeah,
put the
I know
pliers
exactly
in
what
it,
you're talking
pop
about, and
them
I've
out.
reused those bastards.
Well, you got to be careful because if they get really hot in another engine, they lose their structural integrity, and they're brittle at that
Yep.
point, and so heating them back up again, they got brittle. Who knows? Maybe something caused somewhere. I don't know what, but they detonated apparently and blew up into tiny little chunks and made my piston look like a golf ball. So
Yeah,
good times.
yeah. Oh,
But
dude, don't worry. I've had
live and
many
learn. Yeah,
pistons die on me, so I have a whole wall of shame. So don't worry about it. And we lost Jay for a half a second here. He is
right.
paused,
Oh,
and I see a smiling face, and we'll just banter bat right here. Oh, my internet is unstable right now, so I'm
oh,
going to put
I got you
pause.
entirely.
Um, okay. Okay, that was we just had a little bit of a hiccup. There is storms here in Minnesota right now, so that's some of the issue.
Same
And
here.
yeah, yeah.
Who knows?
All right, we'll just keep rolling. Yeah. So the only time I will make sure, like, generally, I always never reuse the circlips on the
Mm-hmm.
wrist pin. Generally, I've done it though. That just reminded me. I
Yep.
gotta write that down. I gotta order a whole bunch more for bakers. Like, yeah, the list is happening, people. All right.
Yeah. So having that moped fail and then the rebuild on that engine, there was just a problem with some parts fitting together, and then another moped I was working on at the time just kept failing. So I was like, fail, 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 and getting frustrated, and I just hit it. I was like, I'm done with mopeds for a while. So I hung up my circlip pliers and just took like a little like almost 5 year hiatus. I feel like
Did you
there
sell
was
your
nobody riding
bikes?
anyways.
Yeah. Did you?
No, definitely not at that
Okay.
time anyway. Unfortunately, I had a pretty good collection of frames and engine parts. I had bought a lot from a dude that had he got a shipping container of shit from some guy. Sorry.
We had another technical difficulty on my part, and I will do no editing to fix this, folks. So we're back to the guy who you bought a whole bunch of moped supplies.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of stuff from a guy. He got a shipping container from uh, it was a guy that had some storage. He had owned a motor sports warehouse, something like that, in Phoenix, and used to sell Gorelli, actually Avanti out of there. So he had a bunch of Avanti stuff. Like, I got a Avanti quad still in a box, and like a bunch of little mini bikes and some of their step throughs, top tank. I mean, I got a bunch of stuff
Dude,
from this
nice.
stuff. And so collecting that, and on top of just other years of getting other frames and things like that, I had just a ton of parts. And so we were selling our house in like 2017 or something like that. And I knew we weren't going to have necessarily the space. It was 2019. I didn't know where we are going to be moving to, so I didn't know if we'd have the space for all my moped stuff. And so I was like, I just got to get rid of most of it. So I boxed it all up and put a lot out for sale and sold for way too cheap. Wish I hadn't included my Pinto frame in with all that, but you live in you get more stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I sold it all and ended up with just my Magnum frame, which I rebuilt during the pandemic, and then my wife still kept her bike, and I kept one, which was an actual Gorelli from that lot of bikes that I had bought. So it was a Gorelli SSXL top tank, real nice shape one. So I kept that. So I had those three, and then this little mini bike that was an Avanti mini bike that then got reset up to be better for an adult to ride. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a little fun 2 speed. So I had those little four bikes, and then kept those for a while and moved out here to get some more.
How was
Good time.
going from Arizona to the you're not in San Diego, you're in
Sacramento.
Sacramento. I'm
Yes.
gonna learn this shit someday, all
Oh,
my California friends. Like, I'm not going to, but I'll lie to you, tell you I might.
night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day is the answer to that, though. It's so much nicer to ride around here because I feel more like the Midwestern style riding,
Hmm.
where you're gonna be able to hit like this sweet little river trail road that's just gonna wind along the side of the river for a while, and it's like 35, 40 mile an hour max, on those roads, and the scene is a lot bigger here. So even like just a random ride, we might get 8 people on it, which is like the low end of a ride.
Yep.
Um, but then like we might get 20 on a good ride, it's
Yeah.
like, holy crap.
Yep.
So
That's always cool when you
it's
have
a lot
like
nicer.
big nights like that. That sounds a lot like a Minnesota ride. Like we can have like 6 to 30. I mean, that's
Hmm.
kind of,
Hmm.
yeah, it's kind of how it is. Now is it like out there, is it the Land Squids putting on a weekly ride, or who's like how are the rides going on out there?
Unfortunately, coming here in the middle of the pandemic, they had pretty much stopped all
Mm-hmm.
rides and things, and so it was probably. I mean, we moved out here in November, so it's not the best riding season here during that time. It's a lot of rain. I think it's a little cold, so it's not the most fun for everybody. I mean, I used to
Mm-hmm.
ride all year long in Indiana, so through all the snow and blizzardy time, I'm no big deal for me. So I'm like, you pansies, get on your bike and ride.
Yeah.
So we rode with anybody here, and then it
We're gonna
still
hit
like trickled
pause
on
one more
slowly
time
through the
and we're gonna
pandemic stuff.
rewind. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Now start back over on that.
Yeah, so getting out here to Sacramento, it's definitely a big change from Tucson, or it's closer to like a Midwestern kind of riding weather, feel, all that good times, that the whole vibe, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just because you can go along those like river roads and out in the countryside a little bit, and it's not crazy riding. You don't have to be on super fast roads. People are a little more, I guess, respectful sometimes too. But it's a lot nicer. And then the land squids are out here, so it's been great trying to ride with them. Coming in during the pandemic, though, they had kind of stopped a lot of their riding, so it was a little while before I got to ride with them at all. And
Yeah.
then, they unfortunately it feels like they're not quite back up to maybe pre-pandemic, which I'm not too familiar with, but it sounded like they used to plan at least a monthly ride,
Okay.
one for sure, good one every month, and then held pretty standard rides all the time. Now it's hard. Like I feel we'll go 2 months, maybe three almost before there's another ride. If
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know, I've planned a couple. Nobody shows up to those, but I've thrown out a couple just because I want to ride and try to get a few people out. But some people ride. Like Christian usually comes out for a ride. He's always wants to ride. Maitland usually comes out for the rides because he always wants to ride too. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's nice to have those.
Love both those guys. BS.
Yeah,
Like
they're
Christian's
great.
super nice guy.
Yeah.
Maitland is like my spirit animal in life. Like I just love, like, Maitland is such a good soul. Like that's
Yeah.
like, love Maitland. Like, yeah. I yeah, I just, yeah, both those guys are fucking rad as hell.
Yeah, they've been nothing but amazing people I've met with the land squids and stuff. Um, Dylan, Nomad
Yep.
mopeds. He's great. Um, like I said, there's Dana, his lady, Chris Squid, him and his wife, and they just had their baby not too long ago.
Hmm.
You got Tom Weeks and his lady Karen. They just had their baby too.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
Tom's super nice guy. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
ridiculously nice. They're all
Yeah.
nice. They're
Yeah,
they're
dude,
amazing
like we
people.
keep on saying, you keep listening to, and that's what's really, I feel very blessed with, like, you start naming all these people off, like, yeah, I know him. I know him.
Mhm.
I know him. It's like it's all because of like this podcast and Baker's. Like Baker's is I
Yeah.
can't I keep on talking about this all the time, people. I can't stress that enough. If you've never done it, it's one of those things you'll do it and you'll obsess about it all year, or you'll hate it and never do it again. But everybody who's done it wants to do it again. Like there's so
I
many.
Yeah, I really want to do it. James P. Honky Cat, he contacted me after this year's and asked me if I wanted to be a part
Dude,
of their
that's the
team.
boy to that's the guy to do it with, because that
Yeah,
he is insanely smart when it comes to
yeah.
bikes,
Oh,
other than
good. I mean,
wheels.
his build was amazing looking. So,
Yeah. No, James is super nice. Again, super nice, super awesome guy. And like I think he would be, if he's contacted you to do it, I would move heaven and earth to try to do it, James.
well, he
Um
he also just got his wife into mopeds just the other day. It sounded like. So I was like, yeah, you and your wife, me and my wife. He said he had another friend and his wife, so it's gonna be the married team, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what. I'm sure you'll stick with the same team name that you had last year, but whatever it was.
I think no, his name was terrible last year. Nobody understood it. No, I'm fucking with you, James. I think Colby and I might be changing. I think we're always gonna go with 80s movies, and
Mm,
I've got a new team name for us, which
mm.
we could be doing apparel. Who knows? It could be rad. Um, I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
we haven't we're jumping all over the place because of ADD.
I know.
Yeah, dude,
It's
don't worry
horrible.
about it.
Squirrel.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, so what made you just that we bumped into each other at Mosquito Fleet? Did
Hmm.
you roll up there with anybody, or how did that all come to you?
Uh, so here in town, there's the Land Squids, and then another smaller group called the Lost Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And the gentleman that runs the Lost Boys, him and his wife, uh, Pony is his name. He told me about this rally. He said him and his wife were going to go to it. So I was like, oh, good. If she's going, I can convince my wife to go. So I was like, babe, we got to go to this rally. And it's like the first rally since the pandemic. And honestly, since
Well, first
like
West Coast
10,
rally, but yeah. Like that was the
yeah,
first
yeah.
rally because like lucky enough
I,
to get all over, dude.
right.
Daggers was awesome. You missed the Daggers. That's all I'll
I
say.
mean, the first rally that I had an opportunity to go to.
There you go. I'm
Let me
sorry
let me
for yeah.
let me come back to that. Yes, because I had the last rally I had actually been to. Besides, there was a couple of small Tucson rallies that we had put on as the Tortugas,
Hmm.
um, but besides those, I had gone to a Skunks rally down in San Diego,
Okay.
and that was the last rally I'd gone to, and that was like, oh man, 2012 ish,
Oh
13
wow. So it
maybe.
you had a huge gap, and yeah.
Huge gap. Like it's been like 8 years, you know. So I was like jonesing for some kind of moped rally, and like getting my wife to, sign off on it is even better. So I was like, yes, let's do this blood drive. So I'd been planning it, for 7 months probably. I'd like
Hmm.
got the hotel room like 3 months in advance. I was like ready to go. Um,
Nice.
then my wife had back problems, so she
Uh-oh.
was not able to go, and she had the grandiose idea, which in hindsight, she always says that she says these things, but doesn't expect me to go for them. And I'm like, when do I ever say no? You know what I mean? Like, why would I not go with whatever idea you've come up with? Like, honestly. So
Yeah.
she was like, hey, what if our son went with you instead? Because he had gone out on some rides here in town with us, and went out on a ride with the squids one time. So he'd ridden
Hmm.
in a smallish pack, you know? So I was like, but he was still a novice rider. But so
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's see. I'm down for the bonding experience. Let's go out for a moped ride in another city, another
Yep.
state. And so we get there, and he wrecked on the first night
Okay.
after having a few too many drinks, I guess,
Okay.
at the Jupiter bar.
Which right was he the one who went down in that kind of weird
Yeah,
bump
those
out?
little chicanes. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I remember passing by him. Yeah.
yeah, yep,
A
yep.
lot of people went down Friday night. Like
I bet.
there was like 5 or 6 people that went down. Did he get messed up at all?
Yeah, I mean, little bumps and bruises, nothing major.
Yeah, but
He's not
like
getting the blood and bones patch
okay.
from Moped Army or anything, So
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if he had to go to the hospital because I don't think I.
yes, yes, he did go to the hospital, but
Oh, did he?
nothing major,
Okay.
so it was good.
Yeah, yeah. So how'd
Yep.
Saturday go for him then? A little
He
better, or did he ride
I
it all Saturday?
No, he decided not to, and then uh just kind of flaked out the rest of the whole time.
Hmm.
So I mean, I don't blame him. I'm sure he wasn't feeling great, but I was like, come on, man, chase vehicle. You can just chill with the people in there, and like you'll have a great time. I know people that have been to rallies and did nothing but chase and had one of the best times they've ever had at a rally.
Yeah, yeah,
So I was like, just come on, man, let's do it. He's like, no, I don't want to. I'm just gonna lay here.
yeah.
Feel sorry for myself.
Yep, yep,
So
dude.
that's what he did. Oh man. But yeah, so it was some land squid, well, Lost Boys that got me to come out to the blood drive in the first place, and then yeah, all kinds of fun happened after that.
How'd you do that weekend other than the
Amazing.
boy? Okay.
Yeah, my bike killed those hills. I was surprised. I was
Yeah.
really surprised.
How's that
I'm
Friday night ride for you? Was that not rad as fuck?
Oh, it's so rad. I am sad that I missed half of it due to going to
Mm,
dealing with my son, and then I couldn't even hang out at the bar after that because that's when we were at the hospital. So it was a bust Friday, but
okay.
Saturday was an amazing ride and a great time. And then we had to bail on Sunday, so we didn't get to ride on Sunday either. But it was
Okay.
good times. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it was I had an amazing time and I can't recommend anybody who ends up in Seattle to go to Salmon by the Bay. That was probably the best breakfast food I think I've had in
Oh,
years.
nice.
Well, it was the lobster and shrimp
Oh,
scrambled eggs.
can't say no to that.
Oh, dude, it was fucking baller. Um, yeah. So once you got home from Seattle, like what all changed? Like what did that get you re-enthused for like the moped community? Like, did anything change in your outlook on mopeds or anything like that? I mean, you're talking about Baker, so obviously maybe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it just got me in the mood for more rallies, and so I'm just trying to stay on top of what's going on with the land squids, and they're trying to maybe do some rally. They said that they are hosting the national moped rally here next year.
That's the rumor.
Yeah,
I don't.
I
I'm
don't
not
know what that
MA.
means. I don't
It's
really know what
it's
that
the.
means. So,
I don't know if anybody really knows what. No, it's supposed to be the big rally. Like there
well,
was.
yeah, I get that. Like the
Um.
Baker, I mean, the whiskey business that I went to, I think was the national rally that year, and that's why there was so many people there. But
Yeah. I don't know if they had nationals back in the day. Like I think the last quote unquote national rally was the what you call it, the West Coast Club Portland. I'm blanking on you guys.
the puddle cutters.
Puddle Cutters. Puddle Cutters had it in 2019, and
Okay.
then it was supposed to be hot and ready, but then
Mm,
COVID, and then COVID and COVID and COVID. But like the two big rallies last year, I would have to say were the Daggers and
mm.
Mosquito Fleet. I mean, I
Yeah.
know LGN had a hell of a turnout, but like to me, those were the two big rallies, and I was lucky enough to go to both of them. And I think I've got an arrangement to make land squids next year.
Okay.
So yeah, dude, I'm flying out for that one. I'm not. I
Yeah. I'm
no.
sure there'll be loners. I have three.
I think I've already. Thank you very much. I've already contacted somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
Dylan
like
has 15. So
Dylan is a funny cat. I've known Dylan for a while now. Like he's
yeah,
a flake. What can I say?
you know,
No,
it's the
he'll
hair.
get that. He'll
He's
he'll get
the
that.
moped Fabio.
He'll get that reference. But I'm excited, dude. I'm just excited. I'm like redoing my garage again. It's putting the ceiling in tonight. Getting ready for like I'm getting stuff in for bakers. What I would recommend this like start working on your yoga for bakers because that's
Right.
it's really all about being limber and
Yeah.
being mentally tough. Like
Yeah.
that's what bakers is. I mean, mechanics you can figure out on your way.
Hmm.
Um
Hmm.
so what's your favorite thing you've done? I kind of ask people this now and again like if you look back at your time in mopeds like try to pull out a few of those moments where like you kind of can be there in the moment like I can't believe I'm fucking doing this right now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
those aha moments.
I mean, yeah, the first moped rally we touched on a little bit. That's definitely one of the first most memorable and things that stand out the most on mopeds. But I would say really like rebuilding my first bike, my Magnum, since I kind of rebuilt that from the ground up. I mean, I took apart the entire bike, every nut and bolt came off of it to be able to, you know, do the frame painting and all the parts and pieces and everything like that, get those all refreshed. So really taking that time and building it all up from nothing and bringing it
Mm-hmm.
back to something, that was probably one of the most memorable things that I've done for myself, anyways, with mopeds. Um, by myself, I guess, more than anything too. But really, it, I mean, the moped community is such a great community. I mean, we've talked a few times about like this great person and that great person, but if you think about it, it's like that's all the moped community is. If they're not a great person, they're probably not going to last in the community for very long. You know, either
Mm-hmm.
nobody's going to help them with their bike, you know, because they're nobody wants to talk to them, and then you know you can only get so far on your own. If I didn't have like the people that I've met through all this and to help bounce ideas off of or like you know troubleshoot something with me, you know, and then the moped army community as a whole, like it's the community is where what keeps me in mopeds, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty amazing that and I can't stress and I've been saying I can't stress enough. Um People like to help people in the moped community for the most part, I'll say that. Are like reaching out to people, hey, you got a loaner I could borrow? And like
Yeah.
90% of the time, like people, I've never been denied a loaner, like ever. When I've reached out to somebody, hey, in that city, like, yeah, we'll get you one. Like,
Yep.
sweet.
Yeah.
Um, so and I'm nobody special. I say that all the time. Like I'm just a dork in a basement, like loving to learn about people.
Yeah.
Um, because yeah, that's I hope the Castle Rollers have a rally this year. I don't know if the I don't know.
I want
People
to try to make it to as many rallies this next year as I can. Uh and then because my wife has she always has great ideas for me to do work.
oh
So she, she's had
avoiding
this great
avoidance,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. She's had this great idea that we, you know, film mopeds, people doing moped stuff, you know, and like try to make some kind of a series out of it or something to that effect. And I'm like,
Bring her
great.
on Bakers with you. We'll see if we actually get a good documentary out of it. Like
I know that's one of the
Travis,
plans.
Travis, I will say this: there's two great ones that I watch repeatedly.
Hmm.
Travis Tutorial, he did
Hmm.
one. The
Okay.
guys from Upjet did one, and then they had that one that came out this past year, Never DNF, and like
Okay.
it's good in its own way. Like
Okay.
I haven't watched it all the way through. Like it was
I don't even know
if
where to find any of these. So that's
YouTube,
problem number one, you know.
YouTube.
Okay.
Yes, just look up Baker's Dozen Run or
uh,
Pinball Run, stuff
hmm,
like that.
hmm. Yeah.
Um, yeah, Travis Tutorial. Like I can't
Okay.
recommend his. He did him and Jesse Stevenson did a whole build on
Yeah.
their Hobbit, and
Hmm.
Jesse's a smart guy, but him and I disagree with the way they went about building that bike. Um, and somehow I became a Hobbit person. I don't know,
Nice.
but like Jesse's a very smart guy, and they did a lot of cool stuff with their bike. That's a good summary of watching all that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
Googling YouTube and like looking up like cornped, like him trolling people, him trolling people in his videos.
I
Like
do
it's
need
fucking
to watch
hilarious.
more of yeah. I do need to watch more of Maze's videos. I know that they're amazing, so I just need to sit down and
They're
watch some of those.
funny. I'll say
I
that.
don't get on the internets very often.
Dude, good for you.
I'm what you
Good for
call
you.
an old person. I'm not, you know this, I'm not on social medias anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just like less and less screen time for me as possible, with the exception of video games and The Simpsons. You gotta watch The Simpsons. So, but I did get a Hobbit this year. So
Ooh,
that's one of my
what
favorite
year?
things about this year of mopeds. It's a 79. It's a
Okay.
yellow one,
Nice. Yeah.
and it's the PA2,
Yep.
and then I think it came from Jackers originally.
Okay.
I don't know where he gets his stuff from, but treats, so who
Yeah.
knows. Uh,
Well,
and then I got it from
it's a 79 Hobbit too. They are
yeah,
fucking in the Midwest, dude. They were issued.
yeah.
Like you lived in a suburb town, you got issued a fucking Hobbit
Here's
or a
your
Pook.
Hobbit.
Yeah, pretty much. Like here's your Pook. Like there you go.
Yep.
Like I still, and like people
um,
can get mad at this. I still trip over freaking $100, $200 Hobbits. Like yeah,
yeah. I wish. I
yeah.
wish. I paid not
Midwest
bad.
pricing,
I think
dude.
I paid, what did I pay? 800, I think, for this guy.
For California, dude, that's not
Technic
bad.
No, it was technically not running. Okay, but the guy I got it from said that Jackers had maybe rebuilt the bottom end. So I took that at face value. Whatever, sure. I'm not going to argue because I don't want to rebuild it. So I was like, cool. Then I can put a kit on it. So I threw a DR on it. It already had a the big long motion left. I mean, yeah, motion left intake.
Intake.
Yep, and then the VM20 on it.
Did you already
So
seize it?
that was, oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. So that that was the other week. But I will say it's not because of a lack of tuning or
It's the
uh,
DR break-in
moped
season. I'm
prowess.
telling people.
So, and it's not even that. It wasn't even that. So the problem is the motion left intake that puts that VM20 outside of your swing arm.
Yep.
Only place it can go, so I don't hate on it. But maybe if it was on the opposite side, it'd be better. I don't know. Anyways, with it being there, there's no good way to run the fuel line that you don't lose a good amount of your tank. Okay, so to just run it straight and then like go up and over onto that VM, you lose almost half your tank just because of the gravity feed situation that it kills, right?
Yep.
So I found a way to like kind of run it through underneath the frame, through the subframe, and back around and up over the carb, and it made me lose maybe like the bottom quarter at the
Yeah.
most, maybe bottom
Yeah.
fifth, right? So I'll take it. What the
You get
problem with
point. What you end up running out at 0.7.
yeah, right. So,
Trust me.
well, the
Trust
problem
me. I've ran out with this combination.
I know, right? So I hate all that anyways, but I'm like, whatever, I'm running it for now. Let's do it. But the problem with that, the way I had to snake my fuel line, and I had kind of like that thick black with the braiding fuel line, right?
Yeah.
I got it off of Amazon or something cheap, whatever. I was like, it works, fine. I'm running it. So I have that. So it's a little on the thicker side. And what had happened was my frame had, I don't know, I guess I hit a good pothole, or I don't know, a bump or something like that, leaned too hard. I don't know. But my frame had pinched the fuel line between the frame and the intake as it
Mm-hmm.
comes out. And so it pinched, and then because it's so thick and the way it is, it actually broke the fuel line a little bit.
Okay.
Not enough that I was just like seeping out fuel, but enough that it was dripping out, and at top speed, it
You're pulling
caused
in
my
air.
float bowl to run dry.
Oh,
So the float ran dry, the engine ran dry, seas city. So
okay. That's an
not,
interesting one. I'm trying. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. I would have totally accepted my failure at building the engine and, properly tuning it. I would have totally accepted that.
Yeah.
Uh, but I felt like it was running fine, and then I, after it seized, I saw that my fuel line was split. And hindsight, I actually think I saw my fuel line was a little split before and didn't do anything about it. So it's
Yeah.
probably my fault more than anything, really. But
It's always our
uh,
fault, except for DR kits because they're
100%.
terrible. They
Yeah.
seize all the time.
So yeah, now I'm like, do I get another DR kit? Do I get a Polini instead? I'm just trying to figure that
Dude, send it. What you do? Run your fuel line. I'm
out.
telling you, you run your
Yeah.
fuel line on the outside. Don't run it through the frame.
Yep.
Just
Right.
because you can still run that down below where
I also
the
found
floorboard.
yeah, but I also found a which I need to get, is a like a 90-degree U bend for the oh no, that was for something else, not the
Yeah,
fuel line.
just run it out of your
Damn.
petcock
Anyways.
underneath the floorboard mount, and
Yep.
you're still gonna
Okay.
lose a little bit, but you'll still be at
Yeah.
like 70% full. Get 3/16
Yeah.
line, run it on the
Right.
outside. It's so, and don't forget to run your fuel filter. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, just send it. Like
What
that
I'm
DR
what I'm actually
until you
Yeah,
break the rings, run it.
right. Well, the rings are fused to the piston. The piston was actually fused to the connecting the
Ah,
pin. The pin was fused into the piston. I had to like get that, do the
oh,
whole
you
like
wrecked it
press it out
good.
with
That's
the.
awesome.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It like it could be saved. Do I want to do the
Nah,
work? I don't
nah.
know. So I'm just like, let's throw Polini on it and call it a day. What I'm also going to do though is get rid of this VM and this intake so that I can have my full tank back. And I'm actually going to put a Shaw in it, of all things.
Ooh,
What
ooh,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. Ooh.
I
Um,
know. No,
I
but see, I don't know how much you read of my posts, but I have these amazing Shaw slides that allow it to act a lot more like a multi-stage carb. And so I'm not sad about a Shaw going on there. I honestly will think it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to destroy other hobbits with my 15 or 16 Shaw.
I know
That's my
Andy
challenge out there.
Stout from the Zeros will love
Yeah.
to hear this.
Oh, for sure.
I was gonna say I just had a guy drop his bike off. Speaking of Maze, it was a bike Maze actually built,
Hmm.
and I don't know, like, but the guy dropped it off at my house. He's like, it's getting hot all the time, getting hot all the time. I'm like, and I've been around hobbits enough. I'm like, all right, give me a couple, give me a month or a day, and I'll get it figured out. I got
Right.
like it just depends like when I actually get to stuff because I'm busy all the time. But winter's coming in Minnesota, and I wanted the bike out of my garage. So
Right.
actually, on one of our few 50-degree days, I just like, all right, well, I'll just start playing with it. Well, I start messing with the timing a little bit, and just here's the key to getting your moped run cooler, people with points.
Hmm.
Close that gap in the points. Like
Hmm.
take it down to like 11 millimeter, 12 millimeter. You don't need to run 16 to 18. Cause I
Right.
just had that thing. I had it wide open throttle for like 3 miles, and I was running, granted, it was a 60-degree day, 50, 60
Hmm.
degree
Hmm.
day. I'll admit that. But
Hmm.
on a DR, I was running 350 degrees. Like,
That's nice.
yeah,
That's low,
like,
low
yeah,
temps.
yeah, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
and it did 48 mile an hour. That's all you need.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So
And I know people like to hate on Shaws, and I don't blame them. They are
they're
pieces of crap.
simple, easy, nice carb when they work.
That's the nice thing about them. And they always work. They are so simple, they can't not work. And if you mess with them as much as I have messed with them, then you learn the tricks. And honestly, the game changer has been this slide that I have for it. And I wouldn't I wouldn't praise it if I didn't have a slide. And it's just like that one little thing that makes a huge difference in them. My bike that I was on in at the blood drive, Shaw, 16
Hmm.
Shaw. 50 mile an hour,
Nice.
and killed the hills.
Nice.
Just didn't stop all day. So like you can't hate on it. I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people like to go with the big boy carbs. I just don't think you need it. I just don't think you need it.
I don't think I haven't had any success over 19 millimeter. Like
Yeah,
that's, I mean,
I just don't
I've
see the difference enough to like justify the amount of time and effort it takes to tune those carbs.
I've kind of
This is what
got
I'm putting out
Pliny's
there.
halfway figured out. Like I've got
Yeah.
like 19, 17, 5, 15. Yeah, that's all I run.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
and because I had this Shane Johnson, like he has a fast DR and all that stuff, and like I was keeping up right with him, and he's got a
Hmm.
drilled out stock carb. He's like, oh, but you got that big carb. I'm like, dude, this is 17.5. It's a millimeter and a half bigger than your drilled out 16. Like
All right.
it's not any bigger. So, but
No,
and
the
plus the nice
carb
thing
I
about
feel
those
like is
carbs, you get gas mileage. You're
yeah.
not eating gas. That's one nice thing about the smaller carb.
Yep. And I mean I understand the big carbs, you get more fuel flow possibly, but and more air flow possibly, but you're still restricted by the amount that the
Uh-oh.
engine itself is going to be able to pull through. It's more dependent upon the exhaust you have going on than
Mm-hmm.
fully the carb. You know, you get that the exhaust, the right length, the right timing for the bike, and it's going to run a lot harder and better for you than having the carb big. You know.
Yeah. That's one thing I've been playing around a lot with since Baker's is timing. Like
Yeah.
realized how silly I was with my timing. Like I was just way too advanced. Like, yeah, I can run 2.5 millimeter, 3 millimeter, and like do 65, almost 70 mile an hour. But how long can I do that for?
Hmm.
A quarter mile, like
Yeah.
not literally
Right.
a quarter mile, but like half mile, and then my temps are 400 on an aluminum kit. Like now I can just roll at
All right.
55. My metro kit on my Hobbit, like I can roll at 55, and I'm barely touching 305 degrees, 310 degrees. So like, yeah,
Hmm.
it's fun to play with that stuff, and oh, I love to learn about what bikes are capable of. But
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I like underdogs. I think that's why I like the Shaw. You know,
yeah.
like I'm a Cubs fan. You know, the Vikings, go Vikings. You know,
Oh, don't
just
get me going on the
the
goddamn
teams that
Vikings,
don't
because
win. Those
no, because you guys,
those
everybody,
are my
you
teams.
are
You
gonna
know,
be disappointed because I remember 1998. Okay, I was there. I mean,
yeah.
I was
So do I.
watching my buddy.
I-
Yeah, fucking
hey,
Gary
okay, I'm a
Anderson.
Vikings fan because of Warren Moon. Okay, that's the
That's
only
awesome.
reason I'm a Vikings fan in the first place. Otherwise, I'd be an Oilers fan still. I mean, God forbid the Texans. Whoa. But you know,
No,
uh, at least I'm a Vikings fan now.
yeah,
So that's I like the underdogs, and so like you know the underwhelming kits, so to speak. You know, I like seeing what you can do to like my bike that my Magnum, the one I rode in Seattle.
uh
It's
huh,
a TCZD
yep.
70 kit, but you got to read those out. If you leave it a piss and port, they're a piss poor. That's what PP stands for on those ones. Piss poor kit. You know, so like forget. You got to just add that read block to it, carve out that window in the piston, open up that intake, boom, doing 50. Like
Nice.
this kit hated everything until I did that, and then it was like, oh, uh,
Open it
finally,
up, let
you
it
set me
breathe,
free.
baby.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, just I mean, I don't like aerosols because I don't like aerosol, but I'll do TCCD all day.
Right on, right on.
I don't know why I
All
don't
right,
like
Jay.
aerosol.
I've you've been breaking up for a second or two. I think we got a gap in the weather,
Nope.
but I am tired and I want to go to bed. So I can't thank you enough for coming on. Don't be a stranger. We'll have to hit each other up somehow because you're no longer on the social medias. You used to tell me. Maybe we'll get you back someday. At least to see that moped stuff. You need to get back on Instagram. I'm
You
telling
do
you,
have
it's
my number
great.
now, so yes.
It's true. But get back on Instagram. There was a
Yep.
great Anthony from Cross Valley Air Cooled.
Mhm.
He put together a pretty fun video from the Saturday night spectacle that was Blood Drive. So it was a
Oh
fun one.
yeah, that was such a good night. Oh,
Yeah.
man. The
Somehow
fireworks, the
somehow I'm in
fire
like
jumps. Oh
90% of that video. Like somebody sent it to me like, how in the fuck are you everywhere
nice.
always? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I was working on a goddamn moped, and all of a sudden a fucking dance party broke out around me. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but I wasn't gonna be I was halfway annoyed, but then I just realized I had to go with the flow. So
You're in a moped rally. What else are you gonna do?
yeah. Well, and then I had to try to be cool around the coolest cat in mopeds, Sean Mahoy. So, you know.
Oh man, it's a tough thing to
Only,
do.
only back roads, dude. He is the coolest person ever. Like, but right on, right. All right.
Jim,
Thank you.
it's been a pleasure, man.
It's
Appreciate it.
been rad. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. We'll get your show up in the next day or so.
I love it.
Can't thank you enough for coming on Second Chance Moped Podcast. Hey everybody, don't forget to like, listen, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit me up anytime you want. Instagram, email secondchancemoped@gmail.com. Yeah, it's thank you guys for listening, and you keep listening. I'll keep doing this stuff. Later. Bye.